The latest Marvel news has Marvel fans wondering why the studio just can't move on from Kang the Conqueror. I mean, there's so much negativity around the thought of recasting that character that the studios would be damn near idiots to continue on with Kang, unless they've already established something with Kang the Conqueror that is an essential piece to the next level of Marvel's grand cosmic plans for the MCU. That's what we need to talk about in this video. So hit that like and subscribe button and let's get it. Now, two major scoopers have talked about Marvel sticking it out with Kang as their final villain of the multiverse saga. You got My Time to Shine Hello saying that the Beyonder is still the main villain for Secret Wars, and that will be their excuse to recast Kang. But also Alex Perez said that they're bringing in new villains to replace the Council of Kangs, but ultimately, Marvel still intends to close out the multiverse saga with a Kang the Conqueror variant as their final villain. Now, I believe both of these scoops to be valid, because even before everything went down with Jonathan Majors, Kang coming back from Ant-Man 3 as the Beyonder has always been a popular theory. But a serious question for you here though, since Ant-Man 3 was a dud, and now there's smoke around recasting the Kang the Conqueror character, why does Marvel even feel like they have to finish their plan for Kang to be the Beyonder? He could have easily never just returned from the ending of Ant-Man 3, and they could have just done a straight up Beyonder from the comics, right? Well, it's all because what they've done with Kang already is so important to building the grand cosmic celestial lore of the MCU, they can't completely turn back now. Look, I'm gonna walk it down like this. With the ending of Ant-Man 3, they sent Kang down the path to become the Beyonder. He'd be the villain to destroy the multiverse at the end of Secret Wars before the heroes do something to save it, like create Battleworld. That seemed to be the case before this Jonathan Majors stuff went down, and it still seems to be the case now, even though Marvel is going to skip their plans for the Council of Kangs. So, the Council of Kangs stuff, Avengers Kang Dynasty, clearly not important enough for Marvel to keep around. They're ditching all of that. But that final scene with Kang in Ant-Man 3, whether you agree or don't agree, Marvel Studios feels it's just too important for them to leave to the side. Now, why Marvel feels that way is yet to be seen, and we likely won't see it on screen until the Beyonder comes back in 2027 if we're lucky. But ain't nobody trying to wait that long, so to try and figure that out now, I think you have to look into two things here: why and how he becomes the Beyonder. You see, I have this wild theory that the multiversal engine from Kang's ship is a reconstructed sphere from the Eternals. I made a whole short about it, and you can go watch it after this video if you're into that type of thing. So for the sake of MCU science, let's say the multiversal engine is indeed that sphere, and Kang gets sucked into it at the end of Ant-Man 3. Since that sphere's original purpose was to communicate with Arishem, that would bring Kang face to face with the dude. And then Arishem would be like, yo, who are you and what are you doing here? And then Kang goes through his whole spiel about how he saw the end of time and his mission to destroy the multiverse so we can only have one timeline so that the end of time never happened. And I'm gonna tell you right now, after the Eternals have been rebelling against Arishem, Arishem is gonna love it, bruh. Having someone with unwavering dedication to his mission to preserve the universe, he's gonna be head over heels over that. So he'll grant the power of the Beyonder to Kang the Conqueror. Now, of course, to jump ahead, this version of Kang will lose to whoever will create Battleworld. Maybe that's Dr. Doom or the Scarlet Witch. But that scenario of him losing is not why Kang is so important to Marvel. You see, the honest truth is, they feel like for some reason they need Kang the Conqueror to tell this grand cosmic hierarchy scale of the MCU and explain how the multiverse was created by the Celestials. You see, Arishem lied to the Eternals. Arishem told the Eternals that they predate everything, they're the ones who created the sun and life, and that was just a flat out lie. If you go to the comics, you know that the Celestials actually had to fight in wars and actually had to fight for the right to grow the multiverse, and it would become a growing and evolving multiverse. And of course, comics are usually more in-depth than the MCU, but in the Loki season 1 finale, we saw a previous Big Bang and a black hole outside of the main timeline, which could hint that a previous multiverse had died and a war had been fought in order for them to control a new one. Look, Arishem was likely among those Celestials who won that war and birthed the multiverse that we are currently watching. So my side theory to this is that Arishem had the Eternals continue to birth galaxies with new Celestials because they know if this version of the universe dies, the Ops will rise again. And at the same time, Arishem is building his army by having these new Celestials be born. But look, with Arishem explaining all that to Kang the Conqueror and making him the Beyonder, it adds higher stakes to Kang's final mission when he comes back in Secret Wars. Because as a Beyonder, he can't let the end of time happen because of the bigger threat that he believes is coming. And more importantly, to the broader picture, when the heroes rebirth the multiverse at the end of Secret Wars, they'll have to answer to the Celestials on their plan to handle that threat should the Ops ever come back. And bro, I tell you right now, that's going to be the perfect bridge to the Celestial War and Eternity War saga that leaked out on Reddit way back when Secret Wars was being announced at that Comic-Con. But if you know how wild the Celestial and Eternity War saga could be, you might just get a clearer picture of why they're forcing a recast with Kang the Beyonder. Now look, in the Defender Beyond comics, a group of the Beyonders that were created by the Celestials, by the way, said that they engineered the destruction of the multiverse, the seventh cosmos, in Secret Wars to destroy a threat known as the Enigma. Now, since Reed Richards and Franklin Richards used energy from the seventh cosmos to rebuild that multiverse, that Enigma threat remained. Now let's put that back together with Kang and the MCU. Like, we all know at this point that Marvel will be doing a little soft reboot after Secret Wars, there's no secret. And what that means is that some of the actors will continue to play their roles in the new Marvel Cinematic Universe. But what if Marvel does this thing where they pull from the comics and have the threat from the Infinity and Multiverse saga come back and threaten Eternity and the Celestials to control the multiverse? Now look, I don't want to necessarily dive into what that force could be because I really haven't thought that far ahead beyond Secret Wars yet. I'm gonna be real there. But the beauty is that, like, if these characters that survive the reboot, you know, like maybe Tom Hiddleston Loki survives it, Shang-Chi, Wong, and even the recasted Beyonder survive that reboot, they can introduce us to this next threat and continue to add a connection to the previous saga. But look, I don't know about you, but if I'm right on this, like if this is indeed Marvel's plans, and you should know, like I've been right before too, is that a good enough reason to keep going through this trouble with recasting Kang the Conqueror? Like, let's be real, people throwing out names out there for a recast, Denzel Washington being one of them. But most recently, you have Daniel Rickman saying that Coleman Domingo from Fear of the Walking Dead, from that Color Purple movie that just dropped, they're saying that he's being eyed and considered to replace Kang the Conqueror in the MCU, which to me on surface level is good. Like, Coleman Domingo to me is a very, very, very solid actor. Like, I love his chops. But when I think about what I saw from, say, the black culture and media about how they've been reacting to Jonathan Majors just being dropped on like the drop of a dime from Marvel after this case, and then you also got people like John Boyega using a Shrek meme to be like, nah, I'm good on trying to be recasted for this role. All I can think about is Isaiah Bradley from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He's probably saying something like, look, even if they did recast Kang, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be him. Now look, as always, like when Marvel drops the bag or waves the opportunity in front of a lesser known actor, they're gonna take it. They're gonna say it's not really that deep. But my whole thing is that, like, with Marvel, we ain't that deep or invested in the Kang the Conqueror storyline to keep all this stuff going. Like, to us fans, this shit really not even worth it. However, like, I'm here for these plans if this is indeed what's happening. Especially if they get Coleman Domingo. Like, I think he has the chops, I think he has the range. If they get an actor like him, then I'm here for it. And clearly Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios thinks what they're doing is dope enough to risk more recasting drama and to bring more of the dumb things that haunted them from phase 4 and phase 5 into these next phases. So with that being said, whatever they have planned, like whatever they're cooking, it's just got to be so dope, so fire, that they feel like they just cannot move on from Kang the Conqueror. But look, let me know what you think in the comment section below, and also hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.